Welcome back guys, GTS Garage. Today we're going to look at the Triumph Trophy. This is a 2015 model. This one is slightly tracking the unevenness of the road far more than she normally did. So a couple of months ago, so let's just go back a year ago. A year ago I did a service, took the bearings from the neck stem and looked in the top ones and they were fine, not a problem at all, they weren't worn. But the service said that you had to lubricate them, which I did. So I packed them full of, re-packed them full of grease, put it all together. Now I have a funny feeling I didn't tighten up the stem bolt nuts. I didn't tighten up the stem nuts sufficiently. So the manual says 240 release back to 15. That's Newton meters. So that's what the manual says, and I have a funny feeling I didn't do that. Tightened up, which I thought was close enough. And then I put everything back together, and over about the last 2 or 3 months probably there has been a significant kind of issue with tracking. You can just feel her moving far more than she should. So I have a funny feeling the fact that I haven't tightened them up to what I should have is now coming back to bite me in the arse. So we are going to address that today. And what I'm going to do is use a service manual to go through the entire process, so I shall make sure that I give you exactly what this says, and I shall make sure that I photograph this and put this on the end of the video, so you will have everything you need to do the job. I'll also highlight the tools, and you hopefully will get a better idea of what's actually involved. So we'll start with doing the test. We will then, if needed, make the adjustments. Let's crack on. So the first thing we're going to do, because someone rightly said the other day that the garage does look very busy, so the first thing we're going to do is get the bike outside, and we're going to put it on the centre stand, and then we're going to put weight on the back of the bike to bring the front wheel up, and that's going to allow us to test the movement. So let's crack on. Okay, so first step is to take the bars just behind the forks, and we are just going to check for movement. And as you can see, there is movement there. A bit too much movement there on the front. Okay, with the weight off the back of the bike and the front wheel firmly back on the ground, the bike is now stable. We're going to start by just loosening the top yoke. Taking an H6. You should be able to see there is movement now with this. Yeah, you can see that. We're now going to remove the nut. So I'm going to take a breaker bar. And we're going to remove this. Put the breaker bar down before I break something. So I'm now removing the nut, but we're now just going to take this off and just going to secure it up there. That'll do, won't it? There you go. And that gives us access to the nut. Just make sure nothing's leaking, as I've just warned you. Okay. This comes in two sections, so there are actually two nuts on this, castle nuts on this, and there is also a washer. And I do not have the right tools, so don't do what I'm about to do. Use the correct tool, buy it, invest in it, and then you won't have to worry about it. But myself, I am going to just undo these with that. That's fine. So we're going to move the first one. Just want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So that's the first one, and the second one under here is a washer, so we're going to take that off as well. There we go, and that's the one that we're now going to tighten up because we've got a bit of movement on the front. So before you tighten, you always untighten. So we're going to come back by about 5 Newton meters. It's all done. We're going to tack it loose a little bit. There you go. And now we're going to retighten to 40 Newton meters. And what we're going to do is, because I don't have the correct tool, I'm going to have to go through that process of tightening it, put everything back together. There's the front wheel moving, so that's my bad because I don't have the right tools. Just going to put that back on. How's that feel? So let's bring it up, secure it, and then we will tighten up again. There you go. Right, that one's done. When it comes to tightening, it's exactly the opposite, so we're just going to take that. Again, it's got the tab on it. Tab can only go one way. Put that one back on, and we're going to use this. We're going to do this one back up. Don't cross thread it. We're going to do this one back up to 40 Newton meters as well. Okay. We're then going to put the handlebars back on and drop them down. This is where it gets a little bit wiggly. It's a case of making sure everything's undone, and then just make sure that they are all Let's just undo this side a little bit more, give a little bit more flow. There you go. That should help it. Right, and then we can, oh, don't hit that button because I went to start. Come on. It's going to be fiddly, but it's being centralised and coming down even. I think that's the issue. There you go, there you go. Right, so it is about there. Okay, what we're going to do is just make sure that, so the way I do this, I look at the forks and I have the forks just come slightly below the lip, so it's on the fork, so I can just see the cap on both sides, and then I know it's so then what I shall do is, hopefully you see this, I shall then put, let's see if I can do this without blocking everything. I shall now just screw that one in, and tighten that one up. Now these get tightened, I think it's to 20, but I will just confirm. So the first thing we do back up to 90 Newton meters is this nut. So using an H6, now I've got the right fit, tighten that up to 25. So with everything done up, it should now be solid as a rock, which it is. There's now no movement on the way back, nice and loose. So that's fine, no problem at all. Job done. Okay guys, that is it done. Not a difficult job, just make sure you have the right tools, and I'll make sure I put the tools up. Have a service manual, don't rely on just this video to do it. Just get the service manual out. Get yourself a service manual. You will never regret having a service manual, and you will never regret having a Haynes manual. So proper tools, Haynes manual, and then watch it, read about it, and then get as much information as you can, which hopefully I've given you, and then have a go yourself. Now I will say that I'm not a trained mechanic, okay? I am not a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a guy that's got tools that have built up over time. I've got a service manual, and I'm willing to give it a go. So with that said, let's take some pictures of the manual. You take care, look after yourselves, ride safe, and I shall catch you on the road. Take care, bye.